every time I turn myself off mute, Bobbi, what did you hear?
Construction.
It's people going crazy, but we have these big beams. Most of our new house in Texarkana is one room. For those of you who are new to this, welcome to Money with Friends. And we're just going to hit record here in just a couple minutes. But we thought we'd hang out before we record the shows, partly because of the fact that there's just a lot going on and tomorrow's a holiday. Today's kind of a holiday, like half holiday.
Sort of. Yes.
Yeah.
I think I have holiday brain because I got the time of our recording wrong. I told everyone 8 a.m., but actually it was 9 a.m.
You were just thinking of my time.
I just made up a time.
8 a.m. Texarkana time. That's what you were thinking. Right. So but most of our house is one huge room. It's one big, great room. That's kind of, just if you saw it, you go, oh, that part's kind of the dining room. That part is this bar area. And this part is kind of the living room area. Anyway, there's these big beams and they took down these old beams that were painted white. Everything was kind of whitewashed, and now the ones that make it look more like a lodge. So these distressed beams, and all day yesterday, as Bobbi said, there were workmen here just distressing this wood, and now it's starting to go up, and doesn't look great yet, but because it's only half up. But man, is it going to look great? I can't wait.
It's going to look great.
I can't wait. Great. But for Thanksgiving,
what you have to say with renovations, and you're living there through renovations, which is always a challenge.
This is the only room in the house, by the way, that is 85% finished. Is this recording room? I am doing this. I have the people from the Geek Squad coming to hang. Did I show you this? To hang this television. See how I got the stuff on the sides there still? That came with it, so you can pick it up, those white things, and then you take those off. But it's going to hang right here behind me. And then we're going to turn this around. So you and I, Bobbi, can put either the title of our episode behind me. We can put our logo behind me. We can do that.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Wow. Yeah, we also have our logo, though, on the screen up here. Oh, wow. I pointed very well. There
nice. See, I go the wrong way. Yes.
I went like that.
Over. Oh,
and it worked.
My hand disappears. So anyway, and then I've got this way, as well with the $100 bill. And then we'll have one other on the wall over here. So yeah.
You're too cool. I'm just stuck in the kitchen.
I don't know.
Look, I'm in New York City. I don't have a lot of options.
Are you the only?
Go ahead. I'm sorry. What?
You could record from that badass outdoor space you and Neil did. Record out there with
that might be that's too tiny. No, it's too tiny. Oh. No, and I have just to my left. I do have three sort of sets here. I have to my left. You can sort of see that's a set for a client. So we do a lot of filming there. And then if I flip the computer around,
right?
That is my dining room. My dining room has a set in it. Yes, there's professional television lighting throughout my dining room and a backdrop, which is sort of like if you guys ever go to like a charity party and things like that, and they have that backdrop that you take pictures of with logos of people that donated money, or if you're a movie star, for the movie stars that are watching when you do your red carpets, you have the backdrop. So I have a backdrop in my dining room, and then if I flip around this camera and you see the entranceway, because the kitchen's sort of also in the entranceway in this New York City apartment, that's the shot that I use if you guys see me on local TV.
Yeah, so you got three different ones.
We got so much space here in New York City.
No, but it's great how you do that. Well, and you and I, and a lot of people haven't been in TV studios, but most TV studios, the one that I worked at for 9 years was gigantic, right? Their studio was huge, but most of the studios that I've been in, Bobbi, and I don't know if it's been the same for you, are like this, where this is not a big room, but you can make I can make three sets here, for Money with Friends and Stacky Benjamin stuff, just boom, 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 just using the three different walls and make them look different. So,
yeah. And also the video screen will be cool because you'll be able to put different logos in there and things like that. And people use green screens. I also own a green screen, but I don't use it that much.
I have one. I don't know how to change the background. I'm assuming it's easy.
Chroma key. It's like
Yeah, I have one, but I've never tried to do like the video editing to put the.
But you know what? The thing with a green screen is sometimes it wrinkles and that can show up, but also you have to, sometimes you get just like I don't know if you guys have, when you do Zoom calls and you put on the virtual backdrop and you sort of have that floaty look. So it never quite looks real. I mean, you can tell CNN does a lot of green screen these days. Like it looks like they're at the White House, but they're actually in like a trailer with TV equipment outside the White House. So very often it's actually, you're not watching the White House behind them or something, or a scene of Washington, D.C. You're actually just seeing a television screen behind the correspondent. So it never looks quite right. If you look closely, you know.
Yeah. Yep. You do, but that took me a while, to see. By the way, I'm going to tweet that we're going live. You already did.
Did I? It's on auto. Then let me see. It should go automatically, actually, and tell everyone. But let me look, because what we can also do, we're going to get really fancy here. And anyone watching, please reshare that we are going live, or that we are live already. But I will, let's see if I can do Money with Friends.
This is very exciting.
I can, yeah, I know, watching me share on social media.
Good morning.
Yeah, and guys, let us know, especially if you're watching. We want to make sure that this is working. Clearly, we're a little clueless. We want to make sure it's going out on Twitter and YouTube and on Facebook. So please say hi from the different locations, especially Twitter, because that's sort of new to us. If you see us on Twitter, please say something. And definitely on Facebook and YouTube as well. Let us know that you're there.
Good morning, Carrie. I didn't say good morning to Annette. I think I did. Yes, I not?
You did. Hi, yes, Annette actually did leave one of our Thanksgiving thank you. So we'll share that for the Thanksgiving show.
So here's what we're going to do. We're actually going to do this week in reverse. We want to end, for those of us hanging out, we want to end with our Thanksgiving show before we say goodbye. So we're going to start off with a week in review show. So it's going to be kind of weird. We're going to talk about Thanksgiving like it's already happened. And then we're going to circle back and do the rest. So let me get that ready.
I love that people are actually listening to us and saying hello from different places. See, this is rare though. Danny's saying hello from the Twitter link, but it looks visually to me on our systems like it came from YouTube. That's so interesting, right?
Because you're looking from the Twitter link through YouTube.
Yeah, is that why?
Kyle.
Okay, so we have Kyle here. Oh, go ahead.
Well, Kyle, we were neighbors for a while. Kyle, because I was in Bloomfield. Aaron, good morning. Jenny's joining us. Hey, Jenny. You guys ready to have some fun? It's the day before things. This is one of my few tasks today, Bobbi. I'm doing, my main task is I'm Cheryl's professional chopper. I don't know if you know that I have that talent.
What will you be chopping? Are you chopping wood outdoors, or are you chopping like salad?
Oh, salad, vegetables.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yes. I do like chopping wood. However, for fires, but I don't even have my fire pit here. That's still in.
Oh my gosh. The house that we're going to in Florida has a fire pit. I'm going to Florida in January, everyone, in the winter for a little bit.
Isn't a fire
I'm so excited. I love Florida.
How do you fire pit in Florida? Like that gets used what, both days? Both days it's cold?
Well, it's going to be January, so it could go down to 50s. Yeah. Don't mock Florida. I love Florida.
She's like, back off Florida.
Love Florida.
Back off it. All right. You guys ready to have some fun? Let's make a couple podcasts. So
right.
We're going
to start first.
We're going to start with the weekend review, and then all right. This is the weekend show for the holiday week, Thanksgiving holiday. Let's do this.
Welcome to the weekend show, where we look back at the highlights of the week that was and get you ready for the week to come. Plus, we take your questions about, anything you want to ask us within reason, guys. It is Saturday, November 28th. Let's talk money with our friends. Welcome to the Money with Friends podcast. I am certified financial planner, Bobbi Rebell, host of the Financial Grown Up podcast, coming to you from my very grown up kitchen in New York City.
And coming from Texarkana, Texas, my mom's half-finished basement, where we make the Stacking Benjamin show, I'm Joe Salsihai.
Here on Money with Friends, every weekday we share the latest headlines, why they matter, and specific ideas and advice for your financial life. And on the weekends, we share highlights, preview the week ahead, and answer your questions.
Today's show is brought to you by, actually, what's funny, we didn't pull up the sponsor stuff.
Who is our sponsor, Joe?
Totally got to start over. Yeah, I think we have to, because this is going to take me a second. Oh my God, is that
Okay.
funny?
On that note, I will just talk to our audience for a few minutes. So, yes, actually, it's so funny. We're being asked about my golf addiction. So, yes, we actually chose Orlando because it's a place that we can both play golf and also the kids can go to Disney, which I know is doing actually a really good job, I have heard, in managing people and socially distancing people and really enforcing masks and stuff. So we feel really good about allowing them to go to Disney. So the kids are going to go to Disney a little bit on the weekends. And then my husband and I can play golf. And then we'll be working during the week. So it's going to be, and my son will be doing remote school as usual. But he is in school today for half a day. So that's exciting for our regular listeners, viewers. He's been in school. This is day number 6 since March.
I don't know if I told you, but I played with Nick here, my son. I played golf twice in the past 2 weeks.
That's so awesome.
I never, I play golf once a year, whether I need to or not. And I played twice in 2 weeks, and man, was it fun. But okay,
I love golf.
Guys. Oh, one more thing before we try take 2. So if you're watching on YouTube, which I know a few of you are, things are going to change a little bit here a lot. I just spoke with Ethan, our new video editor. He's going to really fire up things on Monday. By the way, Bobbi, I just talked to him yesterday afternoon after you and I talked Monday. So here's the deal. These videos where we mess up and you hang out with us live, that's still going to continue. But after maybe 3 or 4 days, that's going to get this video be taken down. And then he'll separate them into the 2 episodes and you'll have the finished episode. So if you prefer the finished episodes, we're going to try to have that done by the time that the same day that you would get it on the audio feed, like the finished product. But if you like watching what you just saw, us go into it and stop halfway, then hang out with us live.
Yes. And you got to join us live then to do that, really.
Yes.
Or get here quickly. So.
Absolutely. All right. I now have it's Walgreens, by the way. All right. I am now ready. I'm going to kill that recording. I'm going to start over. This is the weekend review show for the holiday week, Thanksgiving week. Let's do this. Quiet on the set, everybody.
Welcome to the weekend show where we look back at the highlights of the week that was and get you guys ready for the week to come. Plus, we take your questions about anything you want to ask us. It is Saturday, November 28th. Let's talk money with our friends. Welcome to the Money with Friends podcast. I am certified financial planner, Bobbi Rebell, host of the Financial Grown Up podcast, coming to you from my very grown up kitchen here in New York City.
Coming to you from my mom's half-finished basement outside Texarkana, Texas, where we make the Stacky Benjamin show. I'm Joe Saul-Sehy.
Here on Money with Friends, every weekday we share the latest headlines, why they matter, and specific ideas and advice for your financial life. On the weekends, we share highlights, preview the week ahead, and answer your questions.
What a week it was, Bobbi. Great holiday week. Did you have a great holiday week?
I had a great holiday week, very quiet holiday week here at home with my immediate family. And by the way, my stepdaughter Ashley took charge cooking.
Wow. How about that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cheryl did the cooking here. Usually we had to visit with family, but because we have older relatives, we also had it here. Cheryl was in charge of cooking. I was the professional chopper, which apparently I'm skilled at because she let me do a lot of chopping.
What things did you chop?
Carrots. I'm good at carrots, very good at carrots. A zucchini. I'm good at various other vegetables. It was a very good time, Bobbi. Speaking of a good time, we had a good time this week. Let's talk about what happened last week. We're going to fill you in on what happens next week. And we have a listener question, I believe, about HSAs. Let's see which one of our friends is going to help us kick off today's show.
All right. So we started out Monday talking about Taylor Swift, who actually has been in the news. She won just a few awards, I think, on the American Music Awards. She was nominated for some Grammys, and she announced now that she's going to be re-recording a lot of her big hits, which is huge. But in the news, it talked about this controversy of her not owning her original recordings and how frustrated she was with that situation.
Yeah, the Taylor Swift discussion was a really interesting one, and I mean, we've been talking about stars a lot lately, and that was a super interesting discussion. But also, didn't we on Monday talk about Dolly Parton?
Did we? Oh, I messed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's classic. I messed up. I wrote on our notes Taylor Swift, so I had the wrong show.
Yeah, that's
There we
okay.
go. It's been that kind of week. We also, our live audience here on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter knows that we're recording at a time completely different from what I previewed on our Instagram. So that's the kind of week it's been. I guess we know. I love Taylor Swift, but I also love Dolly Parton. I do have with us today my Dolly Parton mug, which says, pour yourself a cup of ambition, XO Dolly. So let's talk about our show about Dolly Parton, because we didn't talk about Taylor Swift.
Well, I think, no, seriously, to bridge that gap between Taylor Swift and Dolly Parton, I think it's interesting. A lot of people follow superstars and they follow a bunch of stuff that they can't control, but you can also learn some things from these superstars and from problems they have. Adam Carroll and I talking about Taylor Swift, I think was really important. But this last week, Dolly Parton also in the news because, we talk to a lot of people who say, and a lot of money geeks have done a great job with their money. And at some point they go, you know what? I have enough and I'm going to be okay. And then, Bobbi, the fight becomes about more than you. It becomes about your community, about the people around you, about your planet, about whatever you're worried about. I mean, for me, it's walking trails in Texarkana. For you, you're always, well, back before COVID, remember when you could host events? You're always hosting charitable events and involved in charitable events. So at some point it becomes about your community. And Dolly Parton in the news because her foundation gave some money, which was very helpful.
$1 million. Yeah.
A lot of money.
$1 million.
Very helpful in the COVID fight. So, and she got some accolades because of the fact that because of Dolly Parton and her generous giving for her foundation, she was able to help, but everybody here maybe go back to work safely earlier next year than some people thought.
Yeah, I do think a lot of celebrities do give under the radar that we don't always know about. And Dolly Parton has for years given, for example, to support her Imagination Library, which that's not under the radar, but it's not something that she does for accolades. She truly believes in it. And that's supporting, reading for children. So I think there's many celebrities that do a lot and don't often come out and take and use it for publicity, even though that seems to be a stereotype. So we salute Dolly. I love Taylor Swift too, even though that wasn't the show we talked about on Monday. So
yeah, but on Tuesday and Wednesday, because you had Amy Goodman on from Kelly and Ryan and other places. I mean, you switched up to no, you did not.
No, we had Trey Bodge on. We're just losing it. This is such a holiday week, Joe. Okay, we messed up the time we were going to record. I had Trey on.
That is so great. I just listened to those episodes.
No, but I hope we didn't post the wrong episode because what happened is,
I just listened to your episodes with Trey Bodge
who's amazing. So normally this week we would have our friend David Bach from Italy, but David is a little bit under the weather. So we wish him well. And Trey stepped in because we had, of course, Black Friday coming up. So I wanted to have on another shopping expert besides Amy, and Trey is one of our alums here. So my friend Trey Bodge stepped in and we talked, first of all, throughout the shows that she did on Tuesday and Wednesday, she gave so many amazing holiday shopping tips for Black Friday and for ongoing through the holidays. So definitely go back and listen to those. But on Tuesday, we talked about parents spending money on their kids because of COVID guilt, which I can totally see. And then also people just spending money in general because they're just feeling pent up. And then on Wednesday, we talked about the fact that we get this overwhelm with so many choices here in the United States that a lot of retailers are now saying, or even manufacturers are saying, we don't need, for example, in the case of Coach, 1,000 handbag styles. We're good at 500 handbag styles. And there were studies that showed, for example, if you have, I think they had a jam, like, peanut butter or jelly. So jam, they had 24 options or 6 options, and they actually sold more if they only had 6 options to offer people. So, that I don't know if that's a bad thing for consumers to have a little less choice. As much as we think we want more choice, the truth is we get decision paralysis when we have too many choices. So those were Tuesday and Wednesday's shows.
I thought that was important because I even learned that in my teaching courses that I took in college. And when I went back to college, when I thought I was going to become a teacher, was that giving people too many choices creates this freeze where people tend to do nothing. Behaviorally, you do absolutely nothing. So, and even in classes when I was a new financial advisor, Bobbi, I learned, and by the way, I didn't think this was right, so I violated it. And I'll tell you, even in my own practice, early on, I thought that if I told my client everything that I knew about a topic to help them get smarter, it was great. Couldn't do it. Nobody did anything when I did that. When I limited it to the top 2 or 3 and just told them, you know what, here's the deal. I thought about these 3. I like this one. Here's why. I kind of like this one. Here's why. But this is the one I really like. So I'd go with that one. But these are your other 2. If I limited it to 2 or 3, it was great. When I told people all 9, it was a train wreck. So I was right there with you and Trey.
Yeah, because they feel like they have choices, but yet they also feel like there's a clear decision path. So that's why sometimes people like to shop in a small boutique. Too much, you go to a department store, it's just, I find it overwhelmed. I can't make a decision. I mean, how many white blouse choices do you need, really? Right.
But it's also good to think about in your personal life when you feel like you've got overwhelm. Like, you know, I took that and that idea and broadened it and said, just, there's been so many times where I feel overwhelmed. It's always best to take it and say, okay, what are my top 2 things I can do here? Just choose between these 2. Forget about the 19. You're not going to make the perfect decision every time. Making a decision is better than doing nothing, hoping for the perfect decision, right?
Totally agree.
Yeah. After that, on Thursday, we had our Thanksgiving episode where we talked about what we're thankful for and also talked about what our friends that hang out with us here are thankful for. That was an interesting episode. Also, we talked a little bit about HSAs. So if you don't know much about HSAs, we had a great listener question about those. On Friday, Bola Succumbi joined me from Clever Girl Finance. And we talked about, you know, unless things change, and we should never, ever look at the government and make our plan based on what the government might or might not do. But unless things change, a hell of a lot of stimulus is going away in a lot of different areas of our life. So if you're somebody who hasn't paid your rent in a while and there's an eviction moratorium, or you're somebody that has had your student loans that you've been making those payments, you have maybe some help from creditors because of that. A lot of the government programs going away. We go over a lot of those, and Bola is very, very tuned into all those things. So in a 15-minute period, Bobbi, we go over, I think, 7 different programs that you need to be mindful of that might be going bye-bye, and adjust your financial plan. So an important episode on Friday.
By the way, Bola has a new book, so everyone should check that out too.
Absolutely. Where she talks all about investing. And so if you're somebody new to the investing world, that's a big book. Hey, in just a second, Bobbi and I are going to talk about next week and answer a question about what's going on in the world. But let's start with everybody out there who loves a good story. Now, narrow it down to all those passionate podcast listeners who are dedicated to living their best life. Well, that's you, right? Well, Walgreens created a new, easier way to shop, save, and stay well just for you. It's called My Walgreens. And when you join, you're going to discover personalized deals, instantly earn unlimited rewards, and receive real-time local health alerts. Join for free at mywalgreens.com. Exclusions apply. And it's funny, I just realized I said that we were going to do the HSA question on Thursday. We're not doing that Thursday. We're doing it right now. So I'm a little mixed up. Let's talk about.
We sense an ongoing theme. This is a perfect holiday weekend show because it shows we really needed this vacation day.
We totally.
We're recording this late. We're mixing up all the shows. Let's keep going.
Bobbi knows that on Tuesday I almost had a meltdown because I didn't want to be working. Well, I don't think almost is a word. I think I had a meltdown. But okay. Let's talk about
what are we doing next?
It was okay for me. I was wondering about you. Maybe not so much. On Monday, let's talk about what's going on in the world of personal finance, because the world gets back to work and the data starts flowing again. Monday, we get, Bobbi, the core personal consumption expenditure price index. Sounds sexy, doesn't that? But here's why it's super important, because it shows the changes in good prices, excluding food and energy. And the reason that's important, the Fed really leans in on this number. They've shown in the past that they lean on this number. So the rest of the stat geek world, they give it a little more attention, and that kicks off the week. Earnings wise, pretty slow week across the board, but Zoom video communication is going to show earnings. Do you remember, by the way, when Zoom first went public and they were the hot thing and a bunch of people bought the wrong stock? Remember that one? They were buying
I don't.
Zoom's ticker is ZM, and a bunch of people went out and bought a little tiny Chinese company that was ZOOM that's pretty much out of business, and the stock went through the roof for no reason because people just not doing any homework. Just ZOOM, that's what I want to buy. Nope, Zoom is ZM.
So bad.
On Tuesday,
so bad.
We're going to kick off December with something called the Red Book, which is not just a magazine. I always thought Red Book was a magazine, but the Red Book, when it comes to stats, we're going to see year over year and month over month store sales. So the big question that we've all been asking, Bobbi, is how has COVID affected the holiday season? We're going to see lots of press on that, I believe, on Tuesday and Wednesday, depending on how that looks. By the way, Salesforce on Tuesday, one of the few companies declaring earnings. On Wednesday, we turn to the Federal Reserve Beige Book. Wonder if that's because of the color of the book. We got the Red Book and then the Beige Book. That is a Fed report that talks about trends and challenges across the USA. Obviously, then I would imagine later in the week, you and I are going to see a bunch of journalists doing stories about those same trends. Thursday, company called Challenger. What is it? Challenger something Christmas? Challenger Christmas, the staffing company. They talk about job cuts numbers. Hopefully that's going to improve. Biggest day of the week, by the way, for corporate earnings of the 44 companies reporting. We've got Build-A-Bear. You go to Build-A-Bear a lot, Bobbi?
So Build-A-Bear is a mystery to me. Thankfully, my son Harry never got into that stuff, but I know that my stepdaughter, when she was younger, before I knew her, it was a thing. That's just mean to parents at a certain point, because you go to the mall and every time, and it's not, people think the problem is the whatever dollars the actual bear costs. No, that is not the problem. Speaking as a parent, and everyone can understand this, they add up. And so you've got too many of these stuffies, whatever you want to call them, special friends, too many stuffed animals on the children's beds, and you're just accumulating too much stuff. So I don't want to say anything negative about a company. I'm just going to leave it there. There's a lot. It's just, I don't know. Yeah. Build-A-Bear.
I really like the way
I'm really holding back.
Well, let me tell you this. I like
a consumer.
As a parent, what I liked about Build-A-Bear, which has been around obviously for a long time, and my kids are 25 now, but when they were young, we would sometimes go to Build-A-Bear, and I like the way the stores are set up. I like the experience that the kids get. I thought that was really fun for kids. I'll tell you this: we never took them; other people took them. Like grandma would take them, but we would, Bobbi. We'd encourage.
Then you still get they accumulate too much. Then maybe you can get them to give them away. That never worked for us.
Well, that's what I was about to say, was that the issue for us is my kids never played with them. They would bring them home and chuck them in the corner, and then it was just wasteful. So we actually tried to encourage grandma not to take them to Build-A-Bear, even though it was fun and it was really cool. We did not. So Build-A-Bear.
That's what I'm saying. You just have a bed full of stuffed animals and it's just overwhelmed. Yeah.
Yeah. On what else we got on Thursday? Build-A-Bear, Kroger. I find myself at Kroger a fair amount. Smith & Wesson and Land's End, a few of the 44 companies reporting. Friday, we're going to end the week with car and truck sales, hourly earnings numbers, manufacturing and non-farm payroll and productivity. So a potpourri next Friday of numbers, as well as the October trade balance. Really, on the earnings front, only 7 companies reporting. Big Lots is the big one, but really quiet week, all in all. Maybe a lot of economic data, but we're, now that we're getting out of earnings season where a lot of companies report, not going to have as much going on there. I am interested in Kroger, though. I mean, I think there's a lot of stories in what Kroger says. And I know that the idea of grocery shopping, like, super important to do. A lot of people switching to having other people shop for them. I'm just interested to see not just about the number, but the grocery trend happening. I don't know.
Especially with so many more people eating so many more meals at home. I think that's interesting to watch. And I also, it sounds so nerdy, but when I was reporting at Reuters, one of my favorite numbers, and even at other places, one of my favorite economic indicators was really the Beige Book, because it's not just stats. There's actual research, and there's commentary and context regional context for what's going on in the country. And it does give an interesting picture of what's going on in the U.S. economy. And it has a depth to it that a lot of other reports don't have. So my favorite indicator of the week will be the Beige Book, to totally nerd out on everybody. Yes.
Nerd.
What's your favorite economic indicator next week? The Beige Book.
How come nobody asked us that question?
Much cooler than Red Book. The Red Book's just like a retail thing,
Yes, absolutely. Let's transition to the final piece of today's show. If you have a question for us, by the way, send those in. Whatever question that you might have, a financial question. Otherwise, it is team at Money with Friends podcast.
Team at moneywithfriendspodcast.com. I'm sorry. Team at moneywithfriendspodcast.com is our email. And you can also just DM us on Instagram, or just look for these stickers when we put a question sticker up on Instagram. We'll do that from time to time. And we are probably going to start doing some Ask Us Anythings also. So you can just look for those as well. Make sure you're subscribed and following us on Instagram at moneyfriendspod. Subscribing is actually for YouTube.
It's a lot of fun over there. Last week, I did a story that we didn't have time to get to. It was a last minute thing. We pre-recorded some stuff. I mean, it wasn't hot news, but it sure was. A kid at Sherwin-Williams got fired because he made TikTok videos, which touted the company and why you fire somebody when they're helping you. 1.2 million people watch those videos, but we covered that. And I'm going to try to cover more of those as well on our Instagram. Bobbi, what's our question this week?
So our question comes to us from on Instagram, Live, Laugh, Love, which I believe is Jackie. Her question is, open enrollment began for me today. I'm considering an HSA and the high deductible medical. Our family deductible is $4,000. Do we put 100% out-of-pocket costs? Then after we meet the deductible, do we pay, 100% out-of-pocket costs? Then after we meet the deductible, our co-insurance kicks in. So the short answer is, yeah. After you pay the deductible, your co-insurance will kick in. And we can talk a little bit about the HSA and how that works. One of the great things about an HSA is it's going to allow you to save that money tax-free. The other thing that's really good that people don't necessarily realize at first, but it's become something we're talking about more, is that when you do pay the co-pays and your deductible, that does not have to come out of the HSA account. So you can accumulate more of the tax-free money, let that grow for your retirement, effectively make it a retirement account, and then be paying your out-of-pocket and your co-insurance out of just your regular cash flow, and therefore build up that account more aggressively.
Yeah, it's funny. I spoke recently to Belinda Rosenblum, who runs for Stacking Benjamins, our Making Money Easy course, Bobbi. And she said one of the things to watch out for is you have to keep the receipts. You want to make sure you keep the receipts. If you pay it out of pocket, keep the receipts. And over time, the HSA money, Jackie, can be invested. And so over time, you can let the interest that this money earns actually pay your bill later and have that paid for tax-free. So obviously, then the money that you invest pays lots and lots of dividends that way. But, Belinda works with a lot of people on setting up their budget on a one-on-one basis. And she cautions people that if you don't have a good filing system, use the HSA right now. Just use it right away, because if you're digging around in some drawer for receipts 15 years ago, forget it. You're not going to find them. And then you wasted this opportunity. So HSA used well is to go ahead and do it now. Take the tax-free nature of the HSA. But if you're somebody that can organize a really good filing system, then definitely let the interest, Bobbi, pay for it later.
Yeah, HSAs are very, very popular. We have Danny here in our YouTube audience. He says he is starting his third year in an HSA plan in January. Man, I wish I'd been in one for 10 years. Yes. I don't even know if they were around 10 years ago, though, to be fair, Danny, but they do. Time is definitely on your side when it comes to HSAs because of what Joe was just talking about. And yes, I agree with you, Danny. There should be more stress on maxing out the employee contribution to the HSA. And what's great about it also is that even though now, well, I shouldn't say, if you are under 65, when you take money out, it has to be, if you want all the tax benefits, it has to be used for medical expenses. When you reach the age of 65, there's no more penalty for withdrawing the HSA funds to use them for non-medical expenses. You might owe income tax on the withdrawals. If you use them for medical, it's like triple tax free. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
definitely something to think about. You're always gonna be better off if you use them for medical expenses. And sadly, a lot of us will have them after age 65, but you can get to that money. It's not like it's not your money. It's still your money. So it's just win-win-win all the way.
Jenny hanging out with us says she loves her HSA too. Plus her company puts money in it. And that makes a lot of sense. You know, companies going to the HSA because those types of high deductible programs are less expensive for them to administer than your traditional plans. And because of that, a lot of companies then want you to go in there and they give you incentives. So even though you see this high deductible plan and people go, well, I have some medical costs and I don't want to have to pay more out of pocket. A lot of health people telling me, Bobbi, that you need to reevaluate that. If your company's putting money in the HSA for you as well, that's great. You know, and I also want to get back to Danny's comment that there should be more stress on employees matching out their contributions to the HSA. I'll tell you, so when you're contributing to things through your workplace plan, at the most, you may have 3 different options. You've got the pre-tax 401k or a pre-tax plan where money goes in pre-tax. And when you take it out, you pay tax on the gains. And there's also limitations as to when you can take that out. Or you have maybe the Roth 401k where you don't get any tax benefit today, but when you take it out, once again, there's limitations to this, but when you take it out, you're going to take it out tax-free. The HSA, Bobbi, to your point, both ends possibly. You can put it in without paying tax. You can take it out without paying tax if it's for a medical expense and you keep your records. So though, and if you don't, and it's after retirement, as you mentioned, it still is very much like the pre-tax 401k. So maxing out the HSA, I think, comes before maxing out your 401k. I do think if you get a match on your 401k, you want to go up to the match there. And to Jenny's point earlier, go up to whatever they match on the HSA. Then I would, if I'm looking at what to do next, then put more money in the HSA to the cap because that's as good or better as the 401k, and then finish out your 401k. And I see people do that the opposite way all the time. And I think it's that they don't understand the HSA. So they max out the 401k first and leave some money on the table with that HSA.
I think a lot of people still mix up the HSA with the FSA, which is the flexible spending account, which is completely different thing. That's use it or lose it. And that's just to pay your medical expenses for the year to cover that kind of stuff.
Great timing,
but it's use it or lose it. So
a great timing to talk about the FSA too, because we've got a month to go. And if you've got money in an FSA, make sure you know how yours work. Some are changing where that is some money that now you can go ahead and roll over to the new year. But for most plans, got to be gone by the end of this year. And as you know, Bobbi, there are some expenses this year now, which are COVID related expenses. And some are just FSA has been expanded. What you can take out of that, as an example, for women, a lot of feminine products now covered with FSA money.
Good to know. Oh, yes. I wanted to tell people one more fun fact about the HSAs. You can use the account to pay for medical expenses of a spouse or other family members, even if they aren't covered by your high deductible healthcare plan. So that's an interesting thing that people don't know, that it's, your whole family can benefit from it.
Annette asking a question here, high deductible plan is cheaper for the employer. I think it depends on the employer and who they go through, but just generally, absolutely. They're on the hook for a lot less than that. I mean, they, if you look at the cost of, let's say a PPO versus a high deductible plan, a PPO might start paying, the insurance company might have to start paying immediately. So, a lot of people in that industry tell me that that when it comes to the employer portion of what the employer pays for the plan, the high deductible plan, they're trying to convince the employer to push that plan more. So they pass on that savings to the employer. Like I said, might not be universally true, but just generally when it comes to that industry, the high deductible plan's cheaper for a lot of employers. I think that's going to do it. I think it's going to do it for today, Bobbi. What a roundup. Hey, we made it through. We might have talked about Taylor Swift. We may not have. We might have said we're going to answer that HSA thing on Thursday, but we corrected ourselves. We got it done. It's good. How can people help us make these shows?
They should join us on our YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube, search for Money with Friends, make sure you're subscribed, turn on your notifications, and you will be able to be part of the show and maybe get a shout out. be part of our audience. And don't forget, by the way, follow us on Instagram at Money Friends Pod. That's our handle on Twitter as well. And you can leave your questions for the show in the DMs.
Big thanks to Jenny, Danny, Annette, Kyle, Aaron, Carrie, and more for their questions today and for helping us make today's show. So please come hang out with us. We'll see you back here on Monday. She's Bobbi. I'm Joe. We'll see you next week back here at Money with Friends. All right.
I hope that that is well received, because that was really like bordering on total like hosting incompetence, at least on my part. Like I got the taping time wrong. I got the shows wrong. It's just like one big jumble, but you know what? It's a live show. And we obviously need a vacation. We need a vacation. Like that's all I can say. We need a vacation.
I thought it was so fun.
Clearly.
I'm like, Taylor Swift, where the hell are we going with Taylor Swift?
I'm going on and on. I'm like, the funniest part of it was I wasn't even on the Taylor Swift show. Like that was not even my show.
You were running with it too. You're like,
I know. I was like, we talked about this. And I'm like, well, I listened to you and Adam talk about it. So I thought it was my show, but clearly it wasn't.
You're like, Bobbi, what are you talking about? Is this the royal we? We have
I don't know.
Oh my goodness. All right, guys.
Yeah. Okay. Let me just kind of look. I got this new phone finally, by the way. I got out of my decision paralysis, by the way. And I talk about this on the show about how there were 4 iPhones and it was hard. I had to go to the store to decide. I did finally get one, but now I'm not that good at working it yet. I have to watch some video on how to work because my old phone was so outdated. Okay.
Yes.
Let me get this ready.
When you can travel, come visit us. Come visit us in the US.
Okay, wait. Am I on Instagram or Twitter? Oh no, I got to go to Instagram. Bear with me, guys. I'm pulling up your Thanksgiving things.
And why don't I go ahead and...
I have some in the script, and I have some that like came in. We got more. We got a lot of really good responses. So, oh my goodness.
Why don't I go ahead and get crazy and pull up the, it's Walgreens. Good. My Walgreens. It's the between the shows stuff that I find fun.
Okay.
It's funny because, I'm a racing fan, and whenever I go to a racetrack, I rent the earphones, and you can listen into the teams and you can listen to the radio broadcast, but you're listening to the raw feed, Bobbi. And it's a lot like this, where you hear these teams, like they go to commercial, but
you hear the commercial.
Well, you don't hear the commercial. You hear
them.
You hear the people talking, and it's always this between the recording thing. Okay, Mom has this walkout basement, and the sun is really starting to shine in the window. Yeah, I'll be right back, so I'm not so hazy. Oh, by the way, today I'm wearing my podcaster t-shirt,
so that people know.
Yes, I don't know if you knew that I'm a podcaster. Yes. All right, be right back.
Okay. We look American. I wonder what that means when you say we look American. I don't really know. But anyway, so if you guys want to be included in our thank yous for Thanksgiving, you guys who are watching us live, just type in what you're thankful for. It can be money related. It could be just life, what you're thankful for. We're going to be sharing what you guys shared with us on both Instagram and on Facebook. And I'm going to try to keep this phone going so I can read some of the new ones. I have some written down from Instagram, and then we have some that have also keep coming in. Our accent, our lifestyle, our talking is very American. You know what? That makes total sense because we're American.
Yes. And it's funny, by the way, Bobbi, whenever we travel, when I lived in Michigan, people are like, oh, where are you from? And I'll say, well, we're from Michigan, and people will go, oh, okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then we moved to Texas, and it's always, oh, Texas and cowboys. And so all the stereotypical Texas stuff. I feel like a lot of people that I've met know New York, they know California, they know Texas. And then there's this morass of the rest. Of course, you know what? It's exactly the same, right? Italy.
What about Florida?
Well, good point. Disney, right?
Disney.
When you think about Florida, but not much between. But Italy, I'm the same. France, I'm the same. You think about other countries. I'm like, okay, I know those 4 places. Don't know the rest. That's why I love to travel, finding out new stuff. All right, guys, you guys ready to make the Thanksgiving episode
show? Mm-hmm.
This is going to be fun. Let me.
What are we doing? Are we just going to tag team what people said? Since we've planned this so well.
Yes. Yeah. Let's just go back and forth and why don't I give you one of these when it's time to wrap? But here, I'm going to tweet this again. I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but the workmen are here again. Okay. This is the Thanksgiving episode. One of my favorite episodes of the year. Let's do it, Bobbi.
All right, here we go. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. We are so thankful for all of you. We're making this special show all about what you guys, our listeners, are thankful for this year when it comes to money-related stuff and more. It is Thursday, November 26th. Let's talk money with our friends. Welcome to the Money with Friends podcast. I am certified financial planner, Bobbi Rebell, host of the Financial Grown Up podcast, coming to you from my very grown-up kitchen in New York City.
And coming to you from Mom's half-finished basement where it smells like turkey, Bobbi. I'm Joe Salsi. Hi.
Here on Money with Friends, we usually talk about the latest personal finance headlines. But today, Thanksgiving, we are all about being thankful and sharing what all of you are thankful for as well.
I'm glad that a year ago you had this idea to have a tradition on Thanksgiving where normally it would be, in this case, Bola Succumbi. Last year we would have had a guest. Today it's you and I hanging out on Thanksgiving for the people maybe out for a walk, trying to burn off some turkey, or maybe people that this year, of course, I don't know about your family, Bobbi, not getting together with relatives because we have some older relatives. So having a more intimate gathering. So you're just looking for a quiet time, put in the earbuds, listen to some Money with Friends. So good time to think about what you're thankful for, especially this year.
Especially this year. It's been a really hard year for so many people, but at the same time, I think it's been a year where we've been able to reassess what really matters to us. And that's been good. And that's, in life, but also financially. A lot of people have had a lot of struggles financially. And also a lot of people have had a realignment of their values and where their money is going. And that's been really interesting to see. A lot of things that we spent money on were simply not available. And people are thinking about whether they'll go back to their spending ways when they're available again. And in some cases they might, but in some cases we might not behave the same. It'll be interesting to see how consumer behavior adjusts.
It will be, and not just consumer behavior, but also I think how companies adjust, how HR departments adjust, what benefits we end up having, right? What we keep, what we get rid of. I think it's all going to be fascinating. Is hopefully in 2021 we come out of this. Well, we asked our friends, what you're thankful for this year financially, and we got a ton of responses. We're going to go over as many of as we can. Let's see which one of our friends though is going to help us kick off today's show. I want to start off, Bobbi. Actually, we do the show live on our YouTube channel. Head to youtube.com/Money with Friends to find us. And on a day like today, where in the United States, we're celebrating Thanksgiving, I often forget that we're a worldwide show. Ilke hanging out with us. He says, "You eat turkey. I'm from Turkey." So we got turkey surrounded here on the show. But do you want to kick it off? Let's dive in to what some people are thankful for.
All right. So let's start with some of our Instagram friends. By the way, our Instagram is @MoneyFriendsPod. We have Chris Robinette says, I still have my job and continue to stack. So that reference obviously to your other show, Stacking Benjamins, but I guess they are saving. So that's really important that if you do have a stable job and have had income continuity, keep on those plans, stick to your financial goals, don't get distracted by what's going on. And maybe even because so many people are spending less, pay off debt and keep saving, keep investing. The stock market has had a phenomenal year. We've crossed 30,000 on the Dow. So as much as people are suffering, the people that do have stable jobs have a lot to be thankful for.
I think this is a year that's so important if you do have a stable job. Jenny, in fact, hanging out with us live, says she's also thankful for her stable job this year. But I think realizing that there's over 11 million people out of work right now, Bobbi, means to try to take advantage of that, right? Take advantage of the fact that you have a stable job, think through your financial plan and go, you know what, how do I make sure that if I'm not so lucky the next time this happens, we know things are going to go wrong in the future. I mean, we have two choices: make sure nothing ever goes wrong, or realize that they might. And if they're going to, do some things like having an emergency fund, which Tim says, when we ask this question, Tim says, thankful for a strong emergency fund, thankful for being debt free. I think those are two things that if you have a job and you have debt, you don't have an emergency fund, building up that emergency fund now is important. And use things like automatic deposit into a savings account to do it automatically. Studies show that if you trust yourself to try to build that manually, you're not going to do it. There's always going to be something that comes up. So automatically do it like you do with a retirement plan.
Very well said. I think that's so important.
What's another one, Bobbi?
We have, our friend Leslie Tane says, my team, she's thankful for her team. They really rocked it through the New York COVID trials. I think that's a great one, because the people that we work with have been such a support, especially when we're working virtually. And that's the connection that we have very often, that, the people that you see, even though it's through Zoom, that are sticking with you and still doing their thing, even with everything going on. That's something we're all very grateful for. I'm grateful for you, Joe.
Well, I'm very grateful
My team.
for you as well. And for our friend Ashley, who really behind the scenes has been instrumental this year in making this show go. The idea of your team, this is so important to bring this to a money theme about the amount of money that you make and how you make money. So many people don't like their jobs, and it's really important to like what you do. And so being able to be flexible and move into a job that you like, and to also realize that your net worth, and if you're striving for more, in quotes, whatever more might mean, I totally believe that Jim Rohn quote, Bobbi, that you're the product of the 5 people you're closest to. Like, you're going to move along with those people. I never ran marathons. I didn't care about running marathons until we first moved to Texas. And then all my friends in Texas were marathon runners. Guess what started happening on Saturdays? I started running with them. I've now run 11 marathons, and it's not me. It's because of the pack of people that I hung out with. So surround yourself with good people. And I think we can be thankful for that. Kevin also says something similar. Thankful for having a strong support system here in Mexico. Thankful for reliable dividend increases. That's good. And also thankful for an abundance of healthy food, which I think a lot of us are celebrating, maybe too much food on a day like today.
Yeah. We have, let's talk about the market and about things that really matter. Jesse Boulier 907 says, thankful for my March 23rd baby girl. Congratulations, Jesse. And the stock market low, personal high. She says at that point, but the stock market is now at new highs. So you get both. But personal high on a new baby girl, that is something truly to be thankful for.
That is congratulations. That is something to be thankful for. And it's funny, when I was a financial planner and we knew we had a new member of the family coming, we always know there's more expenses. And so I would always recommend that people start saving extra money into a savings account, Bobbi, to start replicating the fact that there's another mouth to feed. And what's cool is that by the time the baby got there, then we had either the emergency fund in place, or we had a little college fund that we could put aside and have that money grow. And it doesn't have to be for college. A lot of people not going to college, but you had a fund that was going to help you along the way. And the bigger point, though, you got used to the fact that the budget was going to be tighter, and you could play test it a little bit before baby got there. So I thought that was great. Let's talk about the other end of the spectrum. Kyle, hanging out with us, says Kyle's grateful that he got to retire in May and take care of his family through all the COVID mess. It's funny, Len Penzo on our Stacking Benjamin show was going to retire also, Kyle. And I don't know if you know this, Bobby, he decided not to retire because of COVID. So
I didn't know that.
But to be able to do that and to make that jump at a time that is so uncertain, and to be able to help other people through that uncertainty. I love this idea. You and I talked about Dolly Parton on Monday. And I think that that this idea of being able to help other people and help not just our family, but our community, so important to remember on a day like today.
So important. Yeah. And we also have Matt in our audience here live saying he's thankful for opening a brokerage account outside his 401k and IRA. And that's something people don't think about. Like you think, well, you've done your retirement planning. You've maxed out those. You can still save for retirement just in normal savings, by the way. You're not limited to money that has to be in a labeled, special tax exempt or delayed tax benefiting account. You can keep saving, and you can just also save for other things. It doesn't all have to be for retirement. So I love the idea that, you can fill those and then have even more. It's a wonderful thing to have that accomplishment. So congratulations, Matt, on that.
What I love about that, Matt, is that you're building flexibility in your plan. And it's funny because one thing we see in internet forums all the time when it comes to money is, what's the most tax advantage way to save, right? How do I optimize every dollar? And the frustrating thing about that as a recovering financial planner is that things change over time that we don't expect. And so the fact that you have this flexible money that can just help you through things, it's a nice buffer to get you there. One theme that I saw with a lot of us money nerds, and this, by the way, Bobby, is a gene that I do not have, and I wish that I had. Adrian expresses very well here hanging out with us. I'm thankful for my emergency fund. I have that gene. My health, I've worked hard on that. But this is the one for my saving / spend less nature. A lot of people hanging out with us talking about how they're thankful for the fact that, they live a great life and they don't need a lot. I think that is fantastic. I, by the way, am somebody that's always had to fight that, not fight spending less, not fight frugal nature, fight the fact that if I've got $1 in my wallet, I always find a use for it. I got something that I want to spend it on. And I've actually found out, Adrian, this year for me, Bobby, as you know, moving around for about 6 months, that having less stuff, which means also, by the way, spending less money. For me, it's not about spending less money. It's that I've realized that having less stuff makes me happier. Having less clutter makes me so much happier. And I've never felt like I had a ton of stuff, but we sold most of our stuff when we sold our house in Michigan. And I was so happy just being able to pick up and go. And that's a lesson. Cheryl and I have talked about that this new house that we have, I'm never going to have the stuff like I had in the past.
Yeah, I think that's a really important thing. I want to get this one in because Green at Home talked about my husband and emergency funds, which we've covered, but deferred student loan payments. I think it's really important that we talk about the fact that there has been help for people. I wish there was more, but we should be grateful that there has been some help for people in this really tough time. And it's important to educate yourself as to what might be available to help you, what programs are out there, government and then non-government programs that can help you pay your bills, defer your student loan payments if you need to, defer your mortgage payments if you need to, advocate for yourself. I think that's really an important theme that we emphasize because a lot of programs, you talked about this with, or you're going to talk about this with BOLA, that a lot of these programs are ending and it's important to be informed.
Yeah, that's going to be on tomorrow's show. And I can't wait for people to hear it because Bobby knows so much. Bobby knows so much. Bola, you do know so much, but Bola also
knows a lot too.
knows so much. And what's funny is that when you talk about people hurting, we talk often about tenants as an example and people not able to pay their rent, but there's also somebody on the other side of that. And Nancy actually talked about this, which she says, I'm thankful we sold our residential investment properties. Who knows if we'd be in a situation with tenants not paying, and then they're not able to pay their mortgage maybe because of that. And it's funny because it just shows how there's so many different facets to COVID. You people that have issues that got COVID. I feel very thankful that when I got it, I didn't get it horrible. I will tell you though, I still want to sleep all the time, and it doesn't feel normal. Yeah, it doesn't feel normal. It definitely is this lingering effect from that. And when I go to work out, I feel my strength go away much quicker still than I did before. And I had, as you know, a very, very mild case of it. So you've got that, you've got people that can't pay their bills. And then you have people that, because they can't pay, other people can't pay their bills, they're out of work, or their investments not doing well. I mean, great problem to have that your investments aren't doing well compared to the other ones, but still there's so many different facets to all the things that happened this year. I think from a year that pretty much, I think we can agree, kind of sucked. Everybody here in our thankfulness is showing that there's also some bright spots. There's some things that we can look at that we can be thankful for.
Yeah, I love this comment from Luke Langholz. What he's thankful for is the resilience of my children in this crazy year. And I think we've learned a lot about our ability to adapt, adjust, and cope. And I'd rather it not have happened, of course. But this is something that a generation of children is really being shaped by. I have a 13-year-old. I have older children as well. And it's affected all of our lives. And it will always impact them. And I do think that, for example, they will always be grateful to be able to go to school in person. And I know that sounds sort of flippant, but I'm not actually being sarcastic at all. I think that there'll be a new appreciation of the value and being appreciative of education, appreciation for teachers, and frankly, appreciation for all of our essential workers, whether it's medical people or the people that show up at the grocery store to make sure we have food and that kind of stuff. I think that we're really learning a lot about what matters. So the resilience of children, that's really a nice thought.
It's a great thought. In just a second, Bobbi and I are going to have our final thoughts on today's holiday edition of Money with Friends. But first, I'd like to start with everybody out there who loves a good story. Now let's narrow it down to all those passionate Money with Friends podcast listeners who are dedicated to living their best life. That's you, right? Well, Walgreens just created a new, easier way to shop, save, and stay well just for you. And it's called My Walgreens. Join, you're going to discover personalized deals, instantly earn unlimited rewards, and you'll receive real-time local health alerts. Join for free at mywalgreens.com. Exclusions apply. We're thankful for Walgreens helping us make today's episode. Bobbi, final thoughts for today's special day?
Well, first, I do want to just acknowledge our listeners and thank them for supporting the show and for spreading the word and for all the kind comments that they leave us on our Instagram at Money Friends Pod. And for example, Tyler Burke and Really Kristen both talked about the fact that they are thankful for Money Podcasts to keep them inspired and set them up to do well throughout the year. So thank you to our community, of course. Thank you to you, Joe. And I'm so thankful for my friends and my family. On a financial note, I want to talk about healthcare. I'm thankful to the fact that I have healthcare, that I have good insurance, and that I can afford to pay for things, because a lot of people have real healthcare issues. And I just hope that that is something that in the year ahead, we as a nation and as a global community figure out the cost of drugs. I'm glad that it sounds like this coronavirus, all of the vaccines will find a way for people to be able to afford them, to vaccinate everyone that wants to be vaccinated. But that's just this thing. I think there's so many medical issues that we have the smarts to figure out, but we don't always have the resources to get it to people that need it at an affordable way. And medical debt's a serious thing. So I'm really thankful that my family is able to afford the healthcare that we are.
It sounds so flippant to say ditto, but I don't think I can say anything more than that. You know what I will say is I'm also going to thank the thought leaders who help us make the show. You know, a lot of you may not know that we called this show Money with Friends. The friends are not our thought leaders, which people sometimes think the people that are on this show are friends. No, that's you. This is meant to be a community show, and we do it live for a reason so that we can hang out with you and make this thing go. But I also want to thank those people. I mean, such busy people, not just this cast, but all the people that joined us this year, Bobbi. I feel very blessed that we can help our community by shining a spotlight on these people that have such great takes on the latest news. And I know that might sound self-serving, and I don't mean for that to be, because every time somebody tells me, yes, they will be on this little show with us, I think that's phenomenal. Just people really giving their time, and
giving, literally, like they're not paid to be here, guys. They're giving their time.
Yeah. And I'm I feel very, very lucky. I mean, I think about the 9 years that I've been podcasting and the fact that these people will show up, so that we can, say some really cool stuff. Like the stuff that comes out of our guests' mouths just always amazes me. I'm like, wow, I didn't think about that. So the fact that I get to sit here and listen to that, I feel very blessed. So that's what I'm thankful for.
Can I say ditto to that now?
Deal. Well, that's going to do it for today, everybody. Thanks to everybody who hung out with us. We made today's very special show. This is such a great, I'm so glad that you said, you know what, let's make this a special show last year. And as you know, we've been looking forward to this, for a long time, but thanks to everybody making today's show with us. Annette, Matt, Adrian, Kyle, Jenny, Ilke hanging out with us. We've got Danny, geez, so many people, who also people that throughout the week gave us what they're thankful for. Thanks a ton. If you want to help us with a future show, how do people do that, Bobbi?
Well, first of all, make sure you're following us on our Instagram at Money Friends Pod. We often post questions and polls that you can participate in and maybe get a shout out on the show. Our Twitter handle is also at Money Friends Pod. You can learn more about the show on our website, moneywithfriendspodcast.com. And of course, make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and search for Money with Friends, hit subscribe. Make sure you set up the alerts so that you know when we are going live.
Yeah, great stuff. We're having more and more fun conversations over there as well. So hang out with us on Instagram. She's Bobbi. I'm Joe. I'll be back tomorrow with Bolus Succumbi. Have a great holiday, everybody. Boom.
Great show, everyone. Thanks,
Fantastic.
guys. You were wonderful.
After the train wreck that was our Saturday show, that was really good.
I know. I wanted to let you just finish. I didn't want to interrupt, but I was about, and our guests are actually better at this than we are. They actually can stick to the topic, and they know what topic goes on what day. I mean,
could you hear the banging out there?
I don't think so.
You couldn't? Good. Okay. Because the workmen are here again, and it got kind of loud, so I kept hitting the mute button. But anyway,
this was Matt's first time joining us. Well, welcome. Bring more friends next time. This is great. You got a shout out. That's perfect. That's awesome.
About time you got here, Matt. You've been sitting here every day. You go back and watch every day. We're like, where the hell's Matt? And yeah. All right, everybody. Thanks a ton.
All right. I think this is it for the holiday. I'm going to be back. I think like 1:00 in the afternoon Eastern time with Grant Sabatier on Monday. 1-ish.
And Monday, by the way, on the recorded show, and we didn't do a good job of telling people that we were making this yesterday, much later in the day than we usually record. And I didn't tell anybody we were making it, but Scott Lynn, who's a super smart guy from Masterworks, joins me, and we talk about museums getting in the game of selling art. And I don't know about you, Bobbi, I just find that world fascinating. Just the whole art thing. And he talks about it so casually about these great artists. And yeah, we just sold a Banksy for millions of dollars and big deal, just crazy stuff. So hang out with Bobbi and watch it made live. Listen to the audio from Scott and I Monday. So we'll see you guys later.